Truly, Neil's benefactor and mentor was Bobby Allison. Ken Squire spoke with him.
You know, he was a friend that was a constant support. And early on, I knew who Neil was, but I didn't know him real well, and he didn't know me real well. But he had been driving some in the late model sportsman stuff around Birmingham, BIR, and Dixie Speedway at the time, I think, was still running a little bit. And of course, Montgomery and Huntsville and so forth. And had been doing reasonably well, but you know, they had the difficulty of keeping the car as first class as they wanted to and that kind of thing. And I guess finally they decided that they couldn't afford to race it like they really wanted to. And about that period of time, I was struggling with them dang old Nashes, otherwise known as Matadors. And I was working out in the engine room, and it was like midnight or beyond midnight of the night, going up to the first day of practice at Dover, Delaware, which that was a 24-hour run for us from Hueytown, Alabama to the Dover racetrack. And we weren't quite done. And he's back there, I just want to give you a hand, what do you want me to do? And we're turning a few wrenches. And we had the engine on what we call a three-legged engine stand. And he went to move it for me and pulled it over, and it fell on him. And I was sure it broke his leg, and you know, I mean, really looked like it hurt him. And he jumped up and apologized for bending my engine up, and you know, stood that engine back up, and wouldn't even allow himself to look to see how bad he was hurt. Now, he was standing back up, so his leg wasn't broken all the way in two. You know, we both could tell that. But he was really hurting, but he would not allow himself even to look down. And we continued on, got that engine finished up, and got the truck sent on. Then he went home. He wouldn't go to the doctor, wouldn't go like to the emergency room or anything. He went on home. And he went to work that next day. You know, he would work during the day, and then he'd come by the shop and work at night. But that's the kind of constant effort he gave me.
Did he ever change in those first days when he used to sweep up for you and come in after he'd finished work, won those Winston Cup races and beat doors with you? Did he ever really change?
I never saw him change. You know, it never was anything that I could pick up on or focus on.
You know, watching his hosting the winter show, he had a great knack, I thought, at putting people at ease when he was interviewing them, and could really draw out some interesting comments from his guests. And it was just his demeanor. I think he was just a kind of easygoing, very cool, very friendly, and had a lot of respect for his other drivers, and he respected them. So the sport's going to miss him.
1975, I left Daytona, went back to Alabama, and got my own short track car back together, and I started beating Neil pretty regular. And Bobby wanted to know what in the hell was wrong with Neil's car, and I said it's got the wrong driver in it. And you know, we joked about that, you know, and Neil and I worked together. He went to Nashville one night, I remember in particular, and I told him something to try on his car. I wasn't going that particular race. I had to go race somewhere else, and he went up there and he won the race. And he came back, and I asked him, I said, well, did you tell Bobby what you did? He said, no. He said, if I ever told Bobby what you told me to do, he'd get mad at me. So, you know, it was typical Neil, and he was always cutting up. You know, he was very serious about his racing. But out of the race car, he had an air about him where he was fun to be around. And just like his TV shows and everything, anybody that watched Neil Bonnett on his show or anything pertaining to television and didn't like it, they're crazy.
I guess all I could say, you know, if I ever would want to set myself all over to be like somebody, I'd want to be like Neil Bonnett. You know, he was a close friend, great race driver, never had an enemy in the world, and you know, that's just a tribute to the kind of person Neil Bonnett was.
The charge was made by the media and that it was driver error. How many miles did he drive in Childress cars primping for this 94 Daytona 500?
You know, Neil ran a lot of miles, thousands of miles with us. It wasn't driver error. None of us will probably never know what it was, but it wasn't driver error. Last test here, you know, we were down, had almost 500 miles on the tires, just like we'd want to get in a race situation, and Neil would come in and say, I'm really getting loose off the corner over here, and but I can hang on some more. And you just don't drive a race car in those conditions. Neil was a great race driver. It wasn't driver error.
All those deals you guys made. I mean, you guys made more deals between yourselves. You were always dealing each other. What was one of the best deals you ever made with Bonnett? And it could be for an off-road vehicle, could be for a rifle, it could have, I don't know what it would have been for, but you guys were, he was always up to something with Childress and Earnhardt.
You know, today it's hard to put your finger on one. I guess the greatest deal I made, he was a friend.
But in this garage, those grandstands, and at home, no one was ever a stranger to Neil Bonnett. And perhaps that is the greatest gift he leaves us.
Do you realize that until the winter show on Nashville Network came along, Hueytown was best known for the Hueytown hum? Gives you pause for thought, doesn't it? Just kidding, Bobby, Donnie, Davey, and Hut. Folks, step into my laboratory and let me give you a demonstration of one law of physics that the 1992 Winston Cup champion Alan Kulwicki would agree with. When you're hot, you're hot. And when you're not, you're not. Now, y'all just think about that. When I see that, I'll be the first one to tell you, standing in front of this camera and not in that race car is not where I want to be. But I'll also be the first one to tell you I don't have any animosity to any driver on a racetrack for an accident. That's racing. You're going to put cars in places they shouldn't be at times. But when you're real careful, you don't win a lot of races. I was already living here in Hueytown. I was working as a pipe fitter and I was racing on the weekend. Then comes Bobby Allison, takes me under his wing, and we all went racing together. The Alabama gang. Me, Bobby, Donnie, and Red, all in a row. We used to love to hear people say it was our genius that made us winners. I'm here to tell you it was because we all stuck together. Hey, wait, hold, time out, guys. Wait just a minute. This is my den, my show. You got my sweaters on and watching my wrecks and getting a chuckle out of it.
Yeah, Neil, wait a minute.
Hey, wait a minute. Oh, don't tell me to wait a minute. Crap's got to stop.
Wait a minute, sit down here.
Whoa, wait a minute. This is mine.
Well, no. Sit down here. Watch this. You ain't believe this one. This is good stuff now. We've been watching this for quite a while.
Yeah, but I heard you laughing down here.
No. This is Daytona. You blew up at the start finish line.
You ain't never wrecked.
And you slid by. You just missed in this wall. Watch this. Just missed. Ooh. Was that close? You had control of it, didn't you?
Make that move right there.
That's true. That is
See, this is good stuff.